My ex cheated, had a child with another man, and now expects me to play dad. Her friends are attacking me online, and her lawyer is trying to push for child support for a kid that isn't even mine. Hey everyone, this is Red Eyed Plus. Buckle up, because this one's wild. So, my ex-wife Natalie and I were together for 7 years. We met during college. A classic setup. She had this fierce energy, super driven, the kind of person who could grab everyone's attention the moment she walked into a room. Me. I was more the quiet, bookish type. I thought we balanced each other perfectly. We had a nice house, future plans, and dreams of starting a family, what I thought was our version of a fairy tale. But apparently, while I was working overtime and grinding to build our life, she was off writing her own secret chapter. Enter Damien, her co-worker. The guy looked like he walked straight off a runway and probably thought he was some kind of gift to the world. The day I found out, it hit like a sledgehammer. I had cut a business trip short to surprise her. I walk in, and her phone lights up. Damien's name. I glanced at the message, and let's just say it had nothing to do with work. That one message unraveled everything. She didn't even try to deny it. She came clean, and to add salt to the wound, she told me she was pregnant. But here's the kicker. The baby wasn't mine. It was Damien's. I filed for divorce so fast it would make your head spin. For the next 3 years, I focused on myself. I poured time into therapy, into healing. I started to feel like my old self again, finally at peace with the storm that had wrecked my life. Then one day, out of nowhere, my phone rings. It's Natalie. Now, I don't know about you, but when an ex calls after years of silence, it's never good news. And surprise, I was right. Her voice cracked as she explained Damien had left her, and she was struggling to raise their son alone. Then came the real punch. Alex, I need your help. I was speechless. What kind of help was she asking for? She went on to say her son, yes, her and Damien's son, needed a father figure. And since I used to be her husband, she thought I should step in and take on that role. I was stunned. I told her as calmly as I could, Natalie, that's not my child. Damien's the father. Ask him to step up. That's when she told me Damien had vanished. Just disappeared. No contact, no support, nothing. And now, in some twisted version of reality, she believed I should be the one to come in and fix it. I thought that was the worst of it. I was wrong. A few days later, I woke up to a barrage of messages on social media. Her friends had launched a full-on smear campaign. Comments, DMs, tags, you name it. They called me everything. Heartless, spineless, a failure of a man. One even said I was never husband material for walking away from my responsibility. I wanted to shout, what responsibility? That child isn't even mine. But I stayed quiet, blocked them all, moved on. Or so I thought. Not long after that, I got another phone call, this time from a lawyer. Her lawyer. They wanted to talk about child support arrangements. I actually laughed. I asked if this was some kind of sick prank, but they were completely serious. Apparently, there's a clause in some legal framework she was hoping to twist. Since I was married to her at the time she got pregnant, she believed I had a moral obligation to help raise the child. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told them flat out, you're barking up the wrong tree. A DNA test proves I'm not the father. That's not my child. Period. They mumbled something about exploring legal avenues, and then hung up. I sat there wondering if I'd stumbled into some reality show prank. That's when I knew I had to shut this down completely. I called Natalie. I didn't yell, I didn't curse. I just laid everything out, firm and clear. I said, I didn't betray anyone. I didn't step out. I didn't create this mess. I owe you and your child absolutely nothing. She broke down in tears, tried to play the victim, begged me to reconsider. I didn't. I blocked her number. Since then, every now and then, I'll get random messages. Someone finds me on a new app. A mutual acquaintance tries to bring it up. But I'm done. I refuse to be the savior in a story that was never mine to begin with. Natalie made her choices. She picked her path. And I've finally found peace walking away from it. Just when I thought the chaos was behind me, I learned a hard truth. Never underestimate a desperate person. I figured things had finally settled. What else could Natalie possibly do? Then one morning, I stopped by my usual coffee shop, just trying to enjoy a quiet start to my day. As I waited in line, someone called my name. I turned around, and there she was. Natalie, standing in the middle of the cafe, holding her son. Before I could say a word, she marched right up to me and loud enough for everyone to hear said, "Alex, we need to talk. Please don't walk away from your son." The entire room went silent. Heads turned. All eyes were suddenly on me, and the weight of those stares hit like a truck. Strangers looked at me like I was some heartless father who'd abandoned his own child. I froze. My brain struggled to catch up with what was happening. After a moment, I found my voice. "Natalie," I said, trying to stay calm, "this child isn't mine. You know that." But she didn't stop. She started going on about how real family shows up, and how a true man steps in when it matters most. That was it. I'd had enough. I looked around at the silent crowd, took a breath, and said loudly and clearly, "This woman cheated on me with another man. That child belongs to him, not me. I owe her nothing." Gasps. Awkward glances. Some people looked confused, others seemed to finally understand. Natalie turned and stormed out of the cafe in tears. "And me." I grabbed my coffee and walked away. Fast forward a few weeks. I'm going through my mail when I see a letter that makes my stomach drop. She actually went and filed for child support. At first, I laughed. I thought it was some kind of prank. But no, it was real. Apparently, in some states, there are outdated laws that say a man can be held financially responsible for a child conceived during the marriage, even if he's not the biological father. It didn't matter that I had hard proof the kid wasn't mine. Natalie was banking on a loophole. My attorney said it was a long shot, but still, we had to respond. We scheduled a paternity test to put the issue to bed once and for all. Unsurprisingly, the results proved what I'd said all along. I wasn't the father. But her lawyer wasn't done. They tried to argue I'd formed some kind of emotional connection with the child and that it would be in the kid's best interest for me to help raise him. An emotional connection. I hadn't seen that child since he was born. The court date finally arrived. Natalie showed up looking like she was ready for a movie role, teary-eyed, tragic, practically begging for sympathy. She talked about how hard it had been raising her son alone, and how I was the only stable figure in his life. Then it was my turn. I told the whole truth. The infidelity, the online harassment, the public ambush at the coffee shop. I looked the judge directly in the eye and said, "I sympathize with her son. He didn't ask for any of this. But I am not his father, and it's not my job to fix the mess Natalie created." The judge agreed. Case dismissed. I wish I could say that was the end of it. But Natalie's circle wasn't finished. Her friends kept posting about me online, tagging me, slandering my name, calling me a disgrace to fatherhood. A few people we both knew even messaged me directly, questioning if I was really telling the whole truth. Eventually, I decided enough was enough. I made a public post explaining everything, laying out the full timeline, and attaching the paternity test results. Most of the backlash died off after that. Though, of course, a handful of die-hard supporters kept throwing shade. I didn't care anymore. Then came the final twist. About a month ago, I got a message from Damien. Yes, that Damien. Turns out, Natalie had tracked him down and tried once again to pass the kid off onto him. His response. He told her he wanted nothing to do with her or the child. Then he reached out to me, apologized for everything, and admitted he regretted the entire situation. I didn't reply. What was there to say? So here I am, finally free. No more Natalie. No more legal nonsense. No more guilt trips. If this experience has taught me anything, it's that some people will go to incredible lengths just to avoid owning up to their choices. But I've made my choice too. I'm not anyone's safety net. I'm not here to rescue someone from the fallout of their own betrayal. This is my life now, mine and no one else's. And if Natalie or anyone like her ever tries to drag me back into that mess again, they'll find themselves hitting a wall. That's it. That's my story. Crazy, right?